I prayed and heard God's voice clearly, as if someone was standing right next to me. How, you may ask? Practice. It's like hearing your mom's voice in a crowd. You recognize it because you've spent time with her. And because you spend time with her, you know her voice, the tone, the pitch, how soft or loud it is, how distinct it is compared to everyone else's. And this is the same with God, voice. Because we've mostly been ignoring God's voice, we kind of have to retrain our brain to be able to hear His voice. First, start small. Ask yes or no questions, such as, God, what should I eat? Should I go to this event? And give some space for God to communicate, like maybe 30 seconds of silence. That's how you'll better learn to identify His voice. One mistake you should not make is that you shouldn't have a decision already made when asking God. You'll usually only hear your own thoughts. So come to God with a surrendered mind. Whether He says yes or no, you know you'll obey. And be patient. With time, you'll be able to hear God's voice with more clarity. And you'll be able to tell the difference between your voice and God's voice. One thing to also take note is that when you ask God something and you feel a sense of peace, that could also be God's way of saying yes or giving you the go-ahead. So yeah, also check that. He might not speak to you, but He might give you peace. Lastly, reading God's word is very important. Let me give you an example out of my life. There was this one time where I didn't want to go to college. It felt unnecessary. They wanted to talk to me about something that they could have done over email or WhatsApp. And I had to travel kind of very far to get there. And petrol ain't cheap, guys. But then I said, okay, let me pray and ask God what He wants to do. So I did. And guys, for the first time in a while, I actually heard God's voice clearly. And He told me, listen to authority. And I knew this was God because it agrees with His word, which He says in Romans 13 verse 1. So unfortunately, I had to go to college, which in the end was a good thing because I actually got something important there that I would have lost if I didn't go, and it would have ended badly for me, like really bad. So by this, I realized that when God tells you to do something, there's always a reason, although it may not seem so. So yeah, guys, to hear God's voice clearly, first, practice. Ask Him yes or no questions to be able to identify His voice better. And remember, peace could also be a way of God saying yes. And lastly, know God's word, because through His word, you'll be able to identify if it's your thoughts or if it's God's thoughts. See you guys.